What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Not too often in the sport of boxing you get 50-50 matchups, man. We're going to have a 50-50 matchup going down this Saturday night in Frisco, Texas. It's the training facility of the Dallas Cowboys going down in Frisco, Texas. You got the WBA Gold welterweight champion Vergil Ortiz taking on, in my opinion, top 10 in the welterweight contender, Egidijus Kavliaukaas, aka the Green Machine. This should be an interesting matchup, man. This fight's not got no kind of buzz, no kind of publicity, man. It's a damn shame, really. This is a good fight, man. This is a real good fight. When you're talking about fights not involving champions or title fights in the welterweight division, this is probably one of the better matchups that you can make in the welterweight division, man. It's a shame that this fight ain't getting no publicity, man. You can see that Oscar De La Hoya, you know, he just running out the clock, basically. He running out the clock. He waiting on his contract to run out with the zone, and he's ready to move on, probably to a Triller or to another. A lot of people say maybe he might go to ESPN. That's not gonna happen. He ain't going to ESPN, man. You know, that's ESPN is strongly tied in with top-ranked boxing. So I think the more likely scenario is he's going to Triller. So he's basically trying to run out the clock. You know, he's basically in a prevent defense, if we're going to use that analogy in the NFL. He basically doing the bare minimum as far as what he going to do to try to grow the brand of the zone, man. He's actually out on the zone, basically, man. I don't think he liked how Eddie Hearn came in and swooped up his #1 prize fighter in Canelo Alvarez. He don't like the fact that in his opinion, he thinks that the zone is pretty much showing Eddie Hearn and matchroom boxing favoritism over Golden Boy promotion and their fighters. I don't know this for a fact. It's just some things I'm hearing through the grapevine. I don't think he's happy with a lot of things going on in the zone. And he's basically ain't lifting his finger to basically promote this fight, man. He's hurting his own fighter in that regard, but I don't think he wants to really, you know, put his energy and his basically Golden Boy Promotions, you know, push this fight out there for the public to see, man. I think the fight is actually a very good matchup, a very intriguing matchup, man. It's gonna we're gonna learn a lot about Vergil Ortiz after this fight, man. We're gonna find out if he's because like I said, I think he's right outside that top 5. Vergil Ortiz, you know, top 5 in my opinion includes Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr., and Manny Pacquiao. That's the big 3 right there in the welterweight division. And then you got the other 2 slots. I got Sean Porter and Keith Thurman, and that's my top 5. I think Vergil Ortiz is right outside that top 5, along with you know, I think Danny Garcia's moving up to 154, so we got to kind of take him out of the picture. So I think he's right outside that top 5. You got the Vergil Ortiz Jr., you got Abel Ramos, you got Yordanis Ugas. You know, you got those guys right outside that top 5. Egidijus Kavliaukaas, those guys, in my opinion, are right outside the top 5 in the welterweight division. So this is arguably, you got 2 guys that are in the top 10 in the welterweight division facing off with each other. And whoever emerges victorious in this fight Saturday night will go a long ways in showing that they're one of the elite boxers in the welterweight division. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. I'm going to break down this matchup. It's a very, 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 very stiff test for Vergil Ortiz Jr. because of the styles, man. This style matchup between these 2 guys is going to lend itself to this going to be a very exciting matchup, a very crowd-pleasing matchup. You got a guy that's very aggressive in Vergil Ortiz, going against a guy that has great timing, a guy that's a great counter-puncher in Egidijus Kavliaukaas. So this is going to make for a great matchup. And one of the things that Egidijus Kavliaukaas was able to get off against Terrence Bud Crawford was Terrence Bud Crawford came out in that fight very aggressive. You know, Terrence Bud Crawford came out there and boxed circles around Egidijus Kavliaukaas, but he came out in that fight with Kavliaukaas with a seek and destroy mindset. And Kavliaukaas was able to capitalize on that early on in that fight. Now, people made a little bit more out of what he did in that fight with Crawford, his performance in that fight, than what he really did. He did good for about the first 4 rounds. After the 4th round, it was the Terrence Crawford show. Make no mistake about it. He took over that fight, and he stopped Kavliaukaas in dramatic fashion. People want to say, man, Green Machine, man, he gave Crawford a tough test, man. He got a lot of good things done against Terrence Crawford, which was the case in the first 4 rounds. But after that, like I said, Terrence Crawford took over that fight, man, and he pretty much dominated Kavliaukaas and put on a vintage Terrence Crawford performance, showed everybody that why he's one of the top guys in the welterweight division and one of the top guys in the pound-for-pound rankings, man. He's a guy that can fight any kind of way you want to fight. You want to box, we can box. You want to bang, we can bang. You want to be an inside phone booth battle, we can do that. Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, is the #1 pound-for-pound boxer today in the sport of boxing. But Egidijus Kavliaukaas had success because I believe Terrence Crawford was a little bit overly aggressive, and he was able to time Terrence Crawford coming in, and he actually dropped Terrence Crawford. Now, the referee did not see that. He was asleep at the wheel, didn't score the knockdown, and that's a damn shame because, you know, that could have went on the record. Even though he lost the fight, Kavliaukaas could have been like, hey, I don't think Terrence Crawford ever been dropping his whole pro career, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's been dropped. So Kavliaukaas could have had his claim to fame of being like, hey, I was the guy that dropped Terrence Crawford. You know how you got the guys that like, hey, I was the guy that dropped Muhammad Ali. You got Chris Wepner, you got Joe Bugner, and you got Joe Frazier. You got 3 guys that could lay claim to fame that they was the guys that dropped Muhammad Ali. And that could have been the case with Egidijus Kavliaukaas. He could have been the guy, the only guy in Terrence Crawford's pro career to drop Terrence Crawford. But again, the referee missed that, didn't count that knockdown, but he definitely was a knockdown in my opinion. You know, we can go to Floyd Mayweather Jr. How many times he been knocked out? Zab Judah was robbed just like Egidijus Kavliaukaas was robbed. Zab Judah dropped Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the first half of that fight, but didn't get credit for it. As Floyd Mayweather Jr. glove touched the canvas. So that should have been scored a knockdown. But the referee didn't see it, just like the referee didn't see it in the Crawford-Kavliaukaas fight. And Floyd Mayweather can say that he's never been dropped, let alone knocked out in his pro career. And that's a damn shame they took that away from not only Egidijus Kavliaukaas, but Zab Judah. But as far as this matchup goes, Vergil Ortiz is an aggressive fighter too, so that's going to lead itself to opportunities for Egidijus Kavliaukaas to catch him coming in with that straight right hand. He's got a very good right hand, Egidijus Kavliaukaas. He's got a good check left hook too, man. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And Vergil Ortiz has got to come in behind the jab, in my opinion. He can't come in through the front door unannounced, because what that happen is you're going to get you subject to get shot on the other end of that door if you come in unannounced and don't announce yourself. You subject to get a bullet in your ass, and that could be the case if Vergil Ortiz tries to come in unannounced. He's got to come in with the jab. If not coming in with the jab, he's got to at least come in with head movement. Come in with the bob and weave style of a Joe Frazier and try to slip the jab and then come inside and then work the body. Man, it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. If you see this fight more toward on the ropes, this is going to be a Vergil Ortiz type of fight. But if this fight is more toward the middle of the ring, I think Egidijus Kavliaukaas is going to have more success if that's the case. So it's going to be a very, very interesting matchup. The jab is going to be the key for both fighters. I think Vergil Ortiz got to jab his way in, or at least come in with head movement and try to close the distance that way. I think Egidijus Kavliaukaas has got to catch that. You know Vergil Ortiz is going to be aggressive in this fight. So Kavliaukaas has got to catch him with the straight right hand, and then early in the fight, and then set the stage for the check left hook in the second half of the fight once Vergil Ortiz makes the adjustment on the right hand. So that's some of the things that I think both fighters are going to bring to the table. I like Vergil Ortiz to win this fight. I like him to win this fight. I got him winning this fight, and I think either late stoppage, maybe around round 11, or a unanimous decision win. I think in the first half of the fight is very competitive. I see Kavliaukaas landing right hands, and I see him landing the right hands on a consistent basis, actually. But I see Vergil Ortiz making the adjustment, taking that right hand away from him, start circling more toward his right, taking the right hand away from him, and then slipping the jab and going to the body, ripping the body with the right hooks and left hooks. You know, setting the stage for 2-punch combinations when he's inside, and looking to land and do a lot of damage in close quarters. So that's some of the things I'm looking for as far as Vergil Ortiz goes. Now, as far as Egidijus Kavliaukaas goes, he's a guy that's got a right hand. He's not a guy that's he's a guy that's very patient fighter, very, very patient fighter. So you got to speed up his clock. If I'm Vergil Ortiz, I got to speed up his clock. I got to make him play at a breakneck pace, more than what he do. Because if the fight is at it's just like basketball. You know, LeBron James, he like to play slow. He like to play more of a half-court type of game. Same thing as Chris Paul. They like to slow it down, play a half-court game. But you got Russell Westbrook. He trying to push the ball. He trying to play at a breakneck pace, And I think that's going to have to be the case as far as Vergil Ortiz. I think he's got to push the tempo, throw a lot of punches, volume of punches, make Egidijus Kavliaukaas have to try to match his volume of punches, and that's going to lead to more mistakes by Egidijus Kavliaukaas, and I think Vergil Ortiz can capitalize on that. So this fight is going to be about tempo. If it's more of a fast pace, more of a volume type of punching where you got a lot of punches per round, I think that favors Vergil Ortiz. If it's more of a methodical, more of a thinking man's type of fight, where your punches are being very cautious and they're trying to set things up, and it's more of a chess match, I think that favors Egidijus Kavliaukaas. So I think that's what's going to boil down to, man. It's a very intriguing matchup. I like both fighters. It's a great test for Vergil Ortiz. If he wins this fight, and if he dominates this fight more than a Terrence Bud Crawford does, it don't mean a damn thing, because styles make fights. I know people are going to say, oh, man, say he stopped Egidijus Kavliaukaas in the 5th round. People gonna say, oh man, Vergil Ortiz stopped him in the 5th round. Terrence Crawford, it took him 9 rounds, or whatever it was, 10 rounds to stop Egidijus Kavliaukaas. Doesn't mean nothing. Styles make fights. This is gonna be a fan-friendly, crowd-pleasing type of matchup. Slow. It could be even a fight of the year type of fight, man. It's gonna be a great matchup. Can't wait to see it. It's a damn shame it's not getting its just due, not getting the publicity that it deserved. There's a lot of things swirling around in the sport of boxing. You got Errol Spence Jr. pulling out of the fight due to the fact that he have a torn retina. You got people doubting him on YouTube and making all these videos and stuff like that. Some people want him to come up with the X-ray showing that he indeed has a torn retina. And if that's the case, that's cool if he does do that. But I don't think the guy would turn down a career-high payday and make up some just because he's ducking. A lot of people saying, well, he was getting worked in sparring. And let me tell y'all something about sparring, man. Look here. Sparring is overrated. You heard of Allen Iverson AI? We talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We talking about practice. That's the same thing with sparring. We talking about sparring. We ain't talking about the actual fight. We talking about sparring. You know what I'm talking about? It's sparring, man. Let me tell you something, man. When I was young, man, I went to a Sugar Ray Leonard sparring match with my homeboy and his dad. We was all big boxing fans. And Sugar Ray Leonard was fighting Egidijus Kavliaukaas in the Astrodome. And he had the sparring going on at the Astro Arena, I say maybe a day or two before the fight. The fight was Saturday night. I think we went to the sparring match. It might have been either Thursday or sometime during that week, early in that week. I don't think it was Thursday or Friday, because I think by that time they was doing a press conference and all that type of stuff. It might have been like a Monday or Tuesday. He had a sparring up at the Astro Arena. He invited all the fans out and stuff. It was a public sparring session. And man, I'm gonna tell you something. When I went to that sparring session, them sparring partners was working over Sugar Ray. I'm talking about Sugar Ray was up on the ropes, and them sparring partner was working Sugar Ray Leonard to the body, backing Sugar Ray Leonard up, having his way with Sugar Ray Leonard and stuff like that. And then when the fight came around, I was like, man, Sugar Ray fight like this, he might get beat by Egidijus Kavliaukaas. At that time, Sugar Ray Leonard was moving up from welterweight to junior middleweight. Egidijus Kavliaukaas had the WBA junior middleweight title. So it wasn't like he was fighting some squirrel. He was fighting a champion, and then he was moving up in weight. And Sugar Ray Leonard fought him that Saturday night and stopped Egidijus Kavliaukaas. Kavliaukaas put up a good fight. It was a real good fight. But Sugar Ray Leonard was too skilled and too fast and stopped him. So with that being said, I'm saying that you can't make too much about sparring matches. Because as far as I know, it seemed like to me Sugar Ray Leonard, now that I've seen how he fought that fight with Kavliaukaas, and then how I saw how he fought in the sparring match before the fight, I could see that he was working on some stuff. He wasn't in fight mode. This wasn't like he was showing his hand like how he was going to actually fight that Saturday night. He was just working on some things. He probably working on some defense. He's working on tying his opponent out, working on the rope, working on if his body could absorb body shots. There's a lot of little things that people don't understand when it comes to sparring. You don't know if guys working on things and working on situations where they're tired, it's in the second half of the fight. They see their opponent is losing steam on their punches, and they gonna let their punches, so they lay up on the ropes and let their opponent get off some shots, knowing that their opponent is getting tired and knowing that their opponent don't have a snap on their punch that they had early in the fight, and they're just letting their opponent shoot their ward out. And then they know after that they're gonna take over and they end up stopping the opponent. And that's what people don't understand in sparring. In sparring, man, you don't know if Errol Spence Jr. had sparred 4 other opponents when a video showed up of him getting worked and getting beaten and getting dominated, and it went out there and it went viral on YouTube. You don't know what transpired because you were not there at the sparring session. So for people to jump the gun and assume that Errol Spence Jr. was getting worked in sparring, that's the reason why he pulled out of the fight and the eye injury is fake. It's after 9, after 10, after 11, and after 12. It's crazy. It makes no sense. And I'm a witness to that, a living witness to that, as I go into my church mode. I'm a living witness to that because, like I said, I seen Sugar Ray Leonard look horrible, getting dominated in sparring before he fought Ayub Kaluli in the Astrodome. And Ayub Kaluli was the WBA junior middleweight champion. Based on what I saw there, and Ayub Kaluli was a real good fighter. A lot of people don't know nothing about Ayub Kaluli, man, because he was in that same era with Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hitman Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran. He wasn't on those 4 guys' level, but he was one of those guys right outside that level. Yeah, to me, I wouldn't put him that far behind John the Beast Mugabe. I put Mugabe probably right up under those top 4, and I put Ayub Kaluli probably right up under Mugabe and guys like that, man. So with that being said, you can't let sparring be the end all be all. That's basically the point I'm trying to make to you guys. You can't let it be the end all be all. It's sparring. It ain't the real fight. So that's just my little synopsis of the situations and my breakdown of the fight. I like Vergil Ortiz over Egidijus Kavliaukaas. I like him to get the stoppage in the 11th round, TKO stoppage, to retain his WBA gold welterweight title. They got too many belts, man. The WBA got the downsize their belts. They got way too many belts. They got the man, they got like 4 champions, man. They got the super WBA welterweight champion, Egidijus Kavliaukaas. They got the regular WBA welterweight champion, and Jamal James. And they got the interim WBA welterweight champion. I don't know what it is. Is that the boy Stayonis, the dude that fought last week? Maybe he the interim. I don't know. Then they got the WBA gold welterweight champion, Vergil Ortiz Jr., man. Got too many belts. I think I heard something the other day. I read an article the other day that the WBA said they're going to downsize. They're going to get rid of all the belts. They said just too many belts, and they're going to downsize. Good. Downsize. You need 1 belt. Get rid of the regular, get rid of the gold, get rid of the interim, get rid of all that. We just need a WBA. At the very least, just have a WBA and an interim WBA. Get rid of all them other damn belts, man. Too many goddamn belts in the sport of boxing. And WBA are seeing the light, I believe. I saw that the other day, that they're going to get rid of all those multiple belts in each division. So that's a good thing. So we will see what happens, then we will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts. Who you like in this matchup between Vergil Ortiz Jr. against Egidijus Kavliaukaas? Who you like? And let me know what round you think is going to end, and if you think it's going to be a stop. If you think it's going to be a decision, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I'll holler.